So it looks like Brian McKnight is receiving a response from his ex-wife and his son, Nicholas McKnight, for his claims that his children are a product of sin and possibly evil.
All right, girl.
Not only that, Chris Brown is taking shots at Quavo. And Kanye West is inserting himself in the rap beef between Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So a lot of people have been reacting to Chris Brown and his new diss track, Weakest Link. But before we get into that, Kanye West, someone we have not talked about in months, is inserting himself in the beef between Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Rick Ross, and J. Cole. But this time, Kanye is taking shots at Drake and J. Cole. So TMZ writes this: Kanye West jumped straight into rap beef, dropping a remix of Future and Kendrick Lamar's diss track Like That and taking aim at Drake and J. Cole. The controversial rapper shared a look at the new track, the title Like That remix, on an episode of The Download hosted by Justin LaBoy, playing the opening live on the show. They said the opening features a line directly from the recently released Future K. Metro Boomin track Like That, which many took as a response to Drake and J. Cole's hit song First Person Shooter, igniting a pretty viral rap back and forth. While Ye only played a little bit on the show, a fuller track seems to have leaked online, though it's unclear if this is what the final verse sounds like or if this is an all-fan/AI made. That is pretty scary that we don't know what is real from what is not real because of AI. However, Kanye seems to be confirming this beef. They said, assuming that it's real, this is what Kanye takes a pretty ruthless dig at both Drake and Jay, rapping, "Y'all so out of sight, out of mind, can't even think of a Drake line. Play J. Cole, get that P dry, play this ish back 130 times. So they said not really a line that's up for interpretation here. Ye takes direct shots at his adversaries, and we gotta say he didn't miss. What do you guys believe? This is TMZ reporting, but what do you guys believe? So Ye's not tamping down any of the drama surrounding the song, instead hopping back on X to post a not safe for work J. Cole meme, so it looks like he's feeding into the frenzy. Are we surprised? Here's the thing with Kanye. I know a lot of people like to say Kanye's this, Kanye's that, make excuses for Kanye's behavior. Kanye is very thirsty in a lot of ways. He doesn't need to because people pay attention to him. He doesn't need to do things for clout, but he does. Hence why he even had a relationship with the Kardashians. Just saying. So he's also promising more coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled for whatever he decides to drop next. Do we really care? Well, some of you do, because it's Kanye West. Well, it seems as if the rap beef continues. I can't believe, like in the first 4 months of 2024, it's been nothing but rap beef. But Chris Brown is inserting himself, and Chris Brown, yes, he's rapped over the years, but he's mostly known for being a singer. But people are pretty impressed with his rap skills and even more impressed with his new song, his diss track for Quavo called Weakest Link. So this is what TMZ reports in regards to this Chris Brown rap that he just dropped yesterday. They said Chris Brown's not fooling around in his beef with Quavo, dropping a new diss track and invoking the name of Quavo's late nephew and Migos star, Takeoff. They said the singer-songwriter, whose well-documented beef with Quavo reignited in recent days, put out his new track, Weakest Link, on YouTube and Instagram, and he's clearly going for Quavo's throat throughout the track. And I listened to it multiple times, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, damn, well, like what happened here? All right, so they said one of his biggest disses, though, is R.I.P. Takeoff, the only real one I got true respect. Crazy how when he died, everyone really wished it was you instead. Here's the thing. Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again just as a disclaimer. I'm not the biggest hip hop head, when it comes to rap beef. However, I grew up in an age where nothing was off the table with rap beef. Should we take what Chris is saying seriously here? That is up for interpretation, but for those that have followed rap beef over the years, there have been some disrespectful things that have said on these sort of back and forth and when it comes to rap beef. However, in a moral society on this Sunday, would I want to be mentioning someone's nephew that passed away in such a tragic way? No. But then, I have ethics and morals. So TMZ says Quavo, as you know, publicly mourned his nephew in the years since performing in multiple tributes with his fellow Migos rapper Offset. So this blow feels particularly low for Chris Brown. Brown got other bars too, as you know in the song. He claims that he had sex with one of Quavo's past girlfriends while she and Q were still together, which explains a ton of animosity between the pair. So a lot of people on social media got Saweetie's name trending yesterday because they believe that it was Saweetie. And a lot of people are now saying, you guys love to call Megan this and you would love to call Lori Harvey this when it's really Saweetie. We don't know that it's Saweetie, though. We don't know that it's Saweetie. All right, so they said it's not clear who Chris Brown is talking about in the song, but many fans and reports are pointing to Saweetie as the possible subject of the line. They said since it seems like Quavo and Brown are pretty consistently competing for ladies, because if you remember, Chris Brown rapped on his song Freak about Quavo hooking up with his ex, Karrueche Tran. I know Karrueche's like, damn it, why am I being brought up again? And Quavo responded by bringing up Brown's violence against women, which Chris mentions in the song. And then he mentions that incident that was caught on videotape between Quavo and Saweetie in the elevator where Quavo was manhandling her. Neither one of you are innocent in that regard. Neither one of you are innocent in that regard. So the beef continues. Well, it doesn't end there because it seems as if Quavo may be responding to Chris Brown in a subtle way. Our friends over at The Shade Room write this. It says, Quavo is giving unbothered and unfazed in what looks like his first public response to Chris Brown's diss track, Weakest Link. So they say, despite the name drop and Chris Brown's attempts at major disrespect, Huncho's response appeared mild. They said Migos rapper took to his Instagram story to repost Young Thug wearing a straight face during his ongoing RICO trial proceedings. He didn't include any text. And if you look at it, it's like, wow. But we could already know that Quavo's probably working on a diss track. I'm sure we probably will hear something between now and tomorrow. But do you want it to be over? When does a rap beef end, you may ask? When a person is, quote, ethered, which goes back to a past diss track. Okay? Well, speaking about ethered, it seems as if Brian McKnight's children have a response to him, and his ex-wife, who never speaks out, is speaking out. Have you ever been in an accident and you just weren't sure where to turn or what law firm to reach out to? If you're injured in an accident, you can check out Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. So when you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. Morgan & Morgan doesn't settle for lowball offers. Just in the past couple of months, Morgan & Morgan saw verdicts of $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times highest insurance offer. Here in New York City, $6.8 million, 25 times the highest insurance offer. The fee is absolutely free unless you win. If you are in an accident or injured in any way, you should know how to protect your rights. Morgan & Morgan has modernized the injury law process so that you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from a smartphone. And you all know I love easy and convenient. Did you know that you can start your claim with America's largest injury law firm with just one click? It's so easy. You can start your claim with Morgan & Morgan now at forthepeople.com/Kempire. More information will be available on Morgan & Morgan in the description. So as you know, in a previous video, we reported to you that Brian McKnight on social media, and mind you, I went through his social media on Instagram and he still has those old videos that we reported on. So if you are missing the context of what has gone on with Brian McKnight and him publicly disowning his biological children only for his new baby, for him to name his new baby Brian McKnight Jr. when there already is a Brian McKnight Jr. and a Brian McKnight III. So there's a long history, and we don't have enough time to go through the long history, but we have posted multiple videos covering Bryant McKnight and him publicly disparaging his biological children. Okay? In our recent video, he was responding to some of the comments on social media, and one comment talked about the product of sin and evil, and he says, yes, he confirms that he feels this way about his biological children, allegedly. I'll just say allegedly. Well, now we are getting a response from his son, who's been battling cancer. So we mentioned that in our previous video because Monique Slaughter pointed that out in the comment section. She's like, Brian, stop this. Your son is literally battling cancer, and you are not making this easy for someone that is already not in the best place with his health. Well, speaking of that son is speaking out in the comments section and has some damning claims against his biological father. And we're going to say biological father and not, daddy. So 50 Clicks, aka Nicholas or Nico McKnight, says, I'm evil? That's wild. The guy who used to make me clean his used out his bathroom at 15 before Lisa got home is calling me evil? For sure. Oof. He wasn't done though. Nicholas continued. He said, the guy who forged signatures on in our names is calling us evil? For sure. My thing is, God only knows how much these kids are not mentioning. And look, we've said this before, and I said this in the previous video. I've said this continuously. We don't know what the kids have said. We don't know what the kids have done in their relationship. But at the same time, Bryant McKnight has such a huge platform. And if you watched and you know all the stories behind Bryant McKnight, not just even from recent years with his kids, but Bryant McKnight's history from over the years, you know Bryant McKnight is not innocent. He's not innocent. And I'm not saying that the kids are completely innocent either. But there's no reason right now, especially, and I'm not sure if he even knows that his son is battling cancer, but it's very easy to know because it's public on his Instagram that he's battling cancer. So even if you don't like someone, just out of respect of someone's health, you know what, let me not mention them. There's no need to respond. There's no need to respond. Well, not only is that happening here, Bryant McKnight's ex-wife, who you never hear from, is speaking out. And I think this is a perfect way to end and start your Sunday because what she says is pretty profound. Take a listen.
You know how I strive to live within a space of positivity. I try daily to make a conscious effort to remain in that space because outside of that isn't a happy place to be. Physically, mentally, spiritually, it's better for me to be in a space where I make sure that the joy is what's around me because I have so much to be thankful for, so many things that I'm grateful for. And I know the way the devil works, and I know that in those times where blessings are bountiful, he likes to creep in, and he likes to use things that he feels will touch parts of you to bring you out of a space where your energy is brought to a lower vibration, lower level, because then you're no longer able to continue on a path where you are okay. That day and that time and that moment and in those seconds, it will and has been and will forever be in reference to my children. As I'm sure most mamas are, as I'm sure most daddies are. And at some point, it's just enough. It's just enough. And it has to be clear that, and hopefully it can help some other folk who might be dealing with situations where there's a constant gnaw of ridiculousness that's trying to get its way, almost like a rat that knows there's food on the other side that will nourish every part of them because they're not getting it. And with this situation, it's attention. So that rat just keeps digging and it keeps digging and it chews through wires and it chews through holes in any way it can find an end to hopefully get into your space, snatch everything so you can go running through the house and try to hit it with a broom. That's what their intent is. I want you, just as I daily am trying my best to do, is to find those spaces where you don't allow that into your space. And I know there's some that's going to say, well, you're addressing it now. Why? Because he said something about you. The things that have been said about me, you would not believe. The things that could be said. The point of it is nothing. I don't want to draw attention to anything. And if I ever do, it is only to help if there's someone who's in a situation who feels like they're being just pushed, prodded, probed. This is that type of situation where everything, of course, in me wants to run amok through every street in this city and that city and the other city, and that would do what? The point at the end of every negative situation, whether it's an illness, whether it's a fool that you have to deal with because they keep entering your life when you are no longer giving any more energy to it. It's to only keep you down to where they thought they had you because they knew that they were the author of an extremely abusive situation.
Pause. She says the author. Of course, she doesn't mention Brian McKnight, but we know who she's talking about, the author. And I have to say, after watching this video, it gave me more clarity because a lot of you have said it in the comment section. Brian McKnight is a narcissist. You can see it. She's basically calling him a narcissist, that he's only mentioning these things. He's only responding to these comments in order to gain him some self-attention. This is how Brian McKnight is mentioned on the blogs. For some people, it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive as long as you're speaking their name. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad.
Emotionally, mentally. And they're no good at not being the center of that attention anymore. So when everybody pulls that away, it's like a kid who throws a tantrum. I'm going to do more. I'm going to raise up. My voice is going to get louder until I end up on the ground kicking and screaming. And then I'm going to show you that, I got you. No. You continue to stay in that space that keeps you cool. And I'm telling you this from experience because this is a time where I do understand that things can hit here. And at this point, on a day like today, it's here. So it's beneficial to kind of bring it in a space that makes sense again. I am so proud to have raised these men. I am so proud to have raised these men that God allowed me, knowing that I wouldn't get everything right. But he allowed me to raise them, and he allowed us to be in a space where, yes, I did have the helms to raise them predominantly on my own, with the help of my family, with the help of my friends, with the help of my community. I'm so glad we had that tribe, and I want others to feel that, and that's what we're here to do. We're not here to gossip. We're not here to keep things rolling and keep things a mess. We're not. And that has been made clear by the fact that you just really haven't heard much, have you? And that's okay. My life, and the life I want all of us to be welcomed in, and a life I want all of us to share, is as simple for me as sitting in front of my rose bushes, going in the house, eat a piece of salmon and some broccoli.
I thought it was so important to mention the entire video. As you can see, she's not slamming Brian McKnight, but she's making it clear what she's been dealing with over the years. And I know she's probably have seen countless people say all kinds of things about her on social media. However, I will say this, I'm glad that she said what she said. And that's what I can appreciate from people that we don't hear from when we report on these stories. But when we do hear from them, it matters, and we should definitely listen. But I have to say, based off the large majority of the audience and what I've seen when we've covered this Brian McKnight story, I think a lot of people see through Brian McKnight's BS. But to hear his ex-wife basically confirm that the reason why he's saying and doing these things is to get attention, is for people in the blogs to report on this. But I don't know if Brian McKnight realizes this is hurting the fans that loved your music are now saying that they can't hear your songs in the same way. They don't want to attend your concerts. So, and I'm never going to tell Brian McKnight you need to be a good father, because if that's not intrinsically in you, if that's not what you want to do, nothing that we or, your children or anyone in your family will say will change who you are. And it sounds as if you've had this toxic behavior for decades. And this is why I warned his current wife, well, if he's doing this to his biological children, please understand he will do the same to you and to the biological child that you now share with him. This is just a warning sign, because it's very clear that Brian McKnight has not changed. And Brian, I'm sure you're glad that you're getting the attention that you have wanted so much, bad or good. Guys, as always, I want to know your reaction to this new Chris Brown song, Weakest Link, and Brian McKnight's ex-wife and son responding to him calling them product of sin and evil. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll ask you. Follow my lead, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.